The future of humans does not look so rosy when you really think about how we're slowly deteriorating, becoming these gelatinous balls of meat and tissue.
And the bodies are connected to the brains. And so that's why we have some mind issues too, because at the end of the day, the bodies aren't functioning correctly, so that's not feeding the brain correctly. And so the brain, that's why I think that when you're really physically well, then your thoughts are physically well.
I think it definitely helps. But people do not like to hear that. Do you notice that? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't even like you. Like, you seem like a happy guy. You don't. I don't think you're on any medication.
Yeah,
you are no. But some people who are want to think like, no. I have a medical problem and I need this. Even if they don't exercise, they go, no. You don't understand. And then if I say, okay, but do you ever exercise? They get mad at you.
Absolutely.
They get mad. Like,
absolutely.
You're suggesting I'm lazy. You're suggesting I brought this upon myself because of my behavior.
Yeah,
no, I have a disease.
Yeah. No, but again, I think that's a disclaimer. That's a way out to not have to be accountable. Be accountable. Like, hey, that if I was out moving and doing things, that it would actually make this go away. I think that I think a lot of depression is connected to that. I believe icing could cure a big portion of depression just because of the hormonal response to the system. And normally when people are depressed, it's connected to some sort of hormone imbalance.
Yes.
And to have a doctor try to figure out what that is, it's pretty elaborate. It's pretty tricky.
Well, they've shown in studies that regular exercise is as effective at SSRIs or more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think also diet, because of inflammation. Like, the inflammation for sure leads to all sorts of different ailments, which could lead to a depressed feeling, a feeling of unwellness.
Well, just eat a bunch of garbage for a week and see how you feel.
Yeah,
I can tell. I'd be depressed.
Yeah. Or just drink some Laird superfood turmeric coffee. This stuff's the shit, man. So the sauna thing, what is the benefit of getting it that hot?
Well,
know.
Listen, honestly, my problem is that if a lot is good, then even more is better. That's a little bit. That's my mentality, right?
We're both stupid.
Hey, no, I'm just saying, like, hey, if 10's good, then 20's got to be better, even better. But I think part of it is the natural evolution. If you're sitting there doing time at 180 degrees, and you can go in there and you're hanging out. And then just 20 minutes, it's 30 minutes, so you might as well just try to turn it up. And my understanding is that the Europeans, you look at a sweat lodge and it ain't 180. If you go into any kind of sweat lodge, if you go to Europe, all the saunas are much hotter. Like, it's like you go into a Russian, steam thing. It's not like those things are, I think that they're pretty conservative with it. I think you just listen to your body. If you go in there and you start hallucinating, you might want to step out. You might be like, hey, maybe I ate something wrong, or maybe I need to just give my body a break. But I think you just use your own feeling as your guide, and I know that if I'm properly hydrated before I go, my tolerance is substantially greater. Like, I can really measure it. I can be hydrated, go in and be like, oh yeah, no problem, and I can go in dehydrated and feel wonky and be like, yeah, I'm not as good. So
that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely have adapted. I've definitely adapted to 200 degrees because when I go to yoga now, it does not seem nearly as hot. 105 degrees, even at the end of the class, I'm like, this is interesting. I was thinking of the last class. I was like, this doesn't feel that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that shows you right there that you're adapting, and then all of a sudden your tolerance, the thing I really like about the sauna is I think it really plays into overheating as an athlete. That you overheat, and that's usually when you have issues, right?
Yeah.
As you overheat, and then your performance is encumbered, right? You just and so the more your tolerance is for the heat, the more you can handle overheating. Pretty soon you don't overheat, and then you just don't have that, because that's one of the factors that gets an athlete, I think, is in any performance, is you overheat. If whether you're fighting or marathon running or basketball, any sport, when you start to overheat, that's usually when you're you're toast.
Yeah.
You're done. You start losing your motor skills, and you're tall. If you can build that tolerance up, and I think, like you said, hey, if you go in 200 and 220, and then all of a sudden you're at yoga, you're at hot yoga, and it's 105, and you're just like, camping
it seems like
out.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It really